and let's hit the books. I'm sorry for getting to the point, but I got to get my mind in gear. We have to salvage this week because it's not over yet. It's not over yet, Brian. How you doing, Brian?
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
So my Rosh Hashiva used to sound like that. He used to say, "How you doing, Dave? We got a machlekes over here in the Talmud, the Shtag and Shtachman. You know, that's how it is. How you guys doing?" So, anyways, Brian, where are we at?
Let's see here.
If you can introduce what we're doing and where we're at, just since you're at the microphone.
I believe we're walking through Binha, understanding.
All right, Lehavin, and we finished Joseph.
Yes.
What did he do? I forget. Where were we at with him? I forget. What did we do? Something amazing. I can't remember what it was. Torah of Shem. That's right. Torah of Shem and Aver, where I supposedly have a layer in my house where I make stuff up about the ancient teachings of Shem and Aver, and I spread it as if it's true, as I make it up, all these little lies. There's really no such thing as a yeshiva Shem and Aver, Rabbi Katz. But we saw that there was an established yeshiva world, right? And Yosef was like the master, the Talmud Chacham master. Okay, so I forget it. We had like quadrants to look up. By the way, anybody that's missing classes, John, I don't know what you've heard. Pam Rogers has all the former classes, so you can get caught up to speed. Pam, did you get the newest one I sent you? Look in your email. I forwarded you James Rogers' newest video that he edited from last week. And if you could please tell James Rogers thank you, because I know he never wants to get on. He's like a secret lurker, Noahide King. He's doing an awesome job of editing. If you can please tell him I appreciate it. I just never see him. I never see him online anywhere. Well, I'm excited too. I just would like to say hi and thank you. Anyways, Brian, pick up from where we're going to go after Yosef. Everybody that wasn't here before, we are learning the word to discern in Hebrew, Lehavin. Let me put that down here. Feels good to be back on the saddle, man. I've not done anything productive with my life this week. All right, Lehavin, which is like to read between the lines, pay attention, and I forget that other one. Brian, you got that other definition? To pay attention, read between the lines. Let me get my book out here 1 second. Let's see here. Lehavin, from the language of Ban. All right. Ben and Bonim. And that's what Bina. Let's see here, Bina. Okay, here we go. So there's three working definitions of discern. Okay. Let's see here. So to 1 second. One second. To check it out, to check things out. To be a navon. Oh, this is nice. I didn't see this last time because I didn't know this mattered until we did Yosef. To be a navon, this is very nice. This is where I'm actually working in my private learning. Wow, this is actually brilliant. Brian, I'm going to quiz you. What was the secret of Yosef's success of being a navon? Remember, this is like one of the crucial points I want everyone to walk away with from last time. Going once, going twice. Anybody? Brian? Yes, when it's tough, we all have to walk away, Brian. It gets rather demanding at times in the classroom with Rabbi Katz. Sometimes we just have to walk away. Not every moment can we stand up to the task of the questions and challenges he presents for us. Sometimes we just have to walk away. Yes, Pam, you got it. Child of elders. There's no such thing as walking out of a cave and saying, hey, the angel Gabriel just happened to have downloaded all this stuff in my brain. I used to be really not bright. Now I'm an absolute genius. Never happens. Never happens. You have to know the wisdom before you are a master of the wisdom. You cannot beat what Pam Rogers calls hard work. So in my book here, it says by the Navone, the one that can read between the lines. I'll give you an example. Give me a one or two. Can a lawyer read between the lines of his law documents? Does a lawyer rip you off by that practice? Is a lawyer a prophet? So how did the lawyer get to know the in between the lines? He went to school and studied the in between the lines stuff. So when we see that there's a Ger Toshav that is a 7-law follower, is it acceptable to say, well, the Rambam said there's no Ger Toshav today because there's no Jubilee? How about reading between the lines, right? How about understanding there's 5,000 kinds of different Ger Toshav? And when Rashi says Ger Toshav, we are expected to know what is in between the lines, one or two. That's why everyone's having problems. They are assuming that we are really, really dumb and don't know how to read a simple English translated poorly Rambam about Jubilee, and we have no idea, and we're making it up even, that there's things in between the lines. Now, can you translate and write what's in between the lines? No. Because then that would take away from being Navon, right? Solomon says at the end of Koheles, Ecclesiastes, writing too many books becomes wearisome, right? You cannot translate everything between the lines. Brian, did you make coffee today? Did it? Okay, you drank some coffee. Brian, I don't think that's correct what you just said. Why don't you tell me what really happened, Brian? Because I think you're lying. You didn't tell me about how you came to drink it, what kind of cup it was. Well, what kind of cup? Where did she buy the cup? What does the cup look like? Because I don't believe you until I can prove in my mind that you actually drank it out of a cup that I can believe is real. Or should I just be in Navone and say, you know what? If Brian had a cup of coffee, I believe him. I think I can read between the lines and say, you know what? He probably had a cup of coffee. That's it. I mean, but even still, if someone said, did Brian drink a cup of coffee today? If I say yes, can it just be kind of understood there were things going on? I don't have to get into detail. So Torah is no different. Okay? When I say Ger Toshav, that without getting into the whole vulgar discussion, you need to turn on your light bulb, stop being moron man, get into mushal mode, and start thinking, okay, which kind of Ger Toshav we talking here, right? Because Pshita, which means simple, we're already beyond the Rambam Jubilee. No one needs to raise that question, right? It's like saying, hey, Brian, did you have coffee today? Did you put it in a cup first? I want to make sure you didn't just, lick it off the floor. Did you put it in a cup? Okay, just want to make sure. I don't know about you people. Not everyone knows to drink a cup of coffee first from a cup. It says in the laws you can't drink coffee off the floor, or not today at least. So it has to be, I learned this lesson in high school. In high school, how many guys have ever lifted weights in here? Okay. All right, so does everybody, if the guys that are lifted weights, can you please explain to me what 135 pounds means to you? Thank you, John. So if John, if I came to you and said, yeah, I got a good workout in, I started with the bar, would you assume 45 or 135? Thank you. Have you ever heard somebody say, really? 45, the bar? And that person got laughed at, didn't they? Okay. I got laughed at too. Now, I also here for the Job class tomorrow. In wrestling, one of the good senior wrestlers when I was a freshman, he was running with a bunch of sweatpants and sweatshirts on. I said, wow, are you overweight? He said, yes. Then I said, how much? He said, 1. What does that mean in between the lines code? What is the right answer? We're talking about like 20 minutes before weigh-in here. 1 ounce. Me, as the young, dumb freshman, said, really, a pound over? I think he said 5. I'm sorry, it wasn't 1, it was 5. I said, wow, you're 5 pounds over? That's pretty hard to get 5 pounds off. He said, Katz, you're not too bright. It's 5 ounces. Okay, so it's, you have to eliminate the ridiculous answer. They call this in Torah pshita, right? The bar in lifting weights is not 45 pounds, even though the literal bar is, right? The bar is a 45-pound plate on each end, 45, 45, 45 is 135. That is called the bar. Anyone that's lifted weights in a proper gym knows that. So that means that if we're being told that the Rambam Jubilee is a problem, that's like lifting weights in a room with people that have never seen a gym before. And they're looking around with tourist photos and cameras going, what's that? What's that? So you see the problem. You see why being a Vone is a huge benefit and a liability at the same time. Right? I'm sure, everyone that's married in here, if I were to listen to your conversations, which I do because I have spies, equipment over here, I would probably be very confused by your lingo, right? Your code lingo. Because I don't live with you. I don't know what you're saying, right? I'm not a prophet to know those kind of things. But I guarantee you, those of you that are married, when you don't get the code, you probably hear it from your spouse pretty quickly. As in, hey, I thought you were a Navone. I thought you know how to read between the lines. So anyways, the idea is of a proper Navone, you have to have what's called here, Haya Chochem. He was already wise. So the more of ancient wisdom of Shem, how many of you listened to Shem number 2 of the new series? All right, so you guys understand now what Shem wisdom is. I know, Pam, you got a big dose of it last week, and I was going off on it like 3 nights in a row. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll see you, Loretta. So we understand the world is filled with that kind of Shem wisdom. 1 or 2. It's everywhere. Everywhere. So the more wisdom that you know, then you're able to really be a Navone. And Joseph was the benchmark of an incredibly superior Navone. He had the wisdom, the school of wisdom. He knew how to not be moron man because he had enough wisdom. He was probably in history, maybe him or Moses together, also King David, right? They were constantly reminded to not be moron man. They had enough wisdom and ability to gain wisdom, which is really the definition of Kabbalah, by the way, right? To remain enlightened and refrain from being moron man. As the most of mankind has ever produced. All right, that's where we've been and where we're going. 1 or 2. You guys with me or not with me at this point? I think we have a pretty good understanding now of what wisdom is. Agreed? Because the proof of the pudding is we wouldn't have understood Shem if we wouldn't have a nice understanding of wisdom. So I think it goes very together well. That we're doing the Mishlei class that has produced a new Shem series that has given us insight to what real wisdom is through the Torah of Shem. So congratulations for being participants of this endeavor. Brian, let's go. We finished Joseph. Is that correct? All right, so bring me up to speed here. Give the microphone and tell me where I'm going next and what I'm doing. Sometimes you just got to walk away. What can you do?
Hello?
Yep.
All right. I got Isaiah 10:13. Hosea
No,
14:10.
wait. One verse at a time.
All right.
Now, where are we going?
I got Isaiah 10:13.
Okay, and why are we going there? Remember?
We're doing Navone.
Oh, it's Navone?
Yeah. Or do you want to go back to?
Just in order of all the things I gave you.
Okay.
Oh, wait. We finished Joseph, right?
Yes.
Okay, and what were the quadrants that we did? We were like pockets of things we were going to do. What were those again?
We had Navone we were hitting, and I think I got some
Yeah.
Bina verses as well,
Also, King David, right?
and King David.
So King David. All right, so let's just go in order, okay? So give me the first verse in order.
I had Isaiah 10:13 written down.
All right, let me see where that is on my list. What's the word?
I'm pretty sure this is Navone.
Let's see here. I disagree because I don't have.
Okay. I just got a huge list of verses here. Hosea
Hold on.
14:10.
Wait a minute. Let me try to find that Isaiah 10:13, right?
Yeah.
All right, let me try to find that. Hold on.
I had grouped that with Breshit. So,
Oh no! Wait. No, it's Mishlei 10:13.
what was it, Mishlei?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Hosea 14:10 and Mishlei 10:13.
Okay, I have that down as well. I do have Hosea 14:10. Yep. And I got Mishlei 10:13.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go, folks. Let's do. I actually want to do with you, Brian. Let's bring up all the Mishlei verses and get them out of the way.
So that'll be Mishlei 10:13, Mishlei 18:15, and Mishlei 1:6.
Okay. So here we go. Let's do our verse first. Mishlei 1:6. All right, you guys with me? Let's see what we find here. Brian, go ahead and read. Mishlei, start with just do all of Mishlei until we get to go to 1 through 1:8. But when you get to 6, really slow it down, and then just go through and get to 8. I want to hear a nice flow of 1 through 8. Go ahead.
All right. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, for learning wisdom and discipline, for understanding words of discernment, for acquiring the discipline for success, righteousness, justice, and equity, for endowing the simple with shrewdness, the young with knowledge and foresight. The wise man hearing them will gain more wisdom. The discerning man will learn to be adroit. Verse 6.
Wait. Where's the word adroit?
It's the last verse of 5. I'm not familiar with that word.
Wait, read 5 again.
The wise man hearing them will gain more wisdom. The discerning man will learn to be adroit. I've never seen that word.
Wait, yeah, that's gonna be really. That's an important word. Wait a second. Yishma Chacham v'Yosef. Wait, how does this work? Read it again.
Mishlei 1:6 or no 1:5.
No, wait, what 5? Yeah.
Mishlei 1:5. The wise man hearing them will gain more wisdom.
Wait. We'll go real slow.
Okay.
Yishma Chacham, right? Because the English is a little different.
Yeah.
Go real slow. I want to follow along.
The wise man, hearing them, will gain more wisdom.
Yosef Yosef. Okay.
The discerning man will learn to be adroit.
Yeah, we definitely got to go over that again. Not now, though, but keep going.
Verse 6. For understanding proverb and epigram, the words of the wise and their riddles. Verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. My son, heed the discipline of your father, and do not forsake the instruction of your mother.
Heavy stuff. I want to see real quick what this word adroit is. I know what it is in English. I want to see this word in Hebrew. I'll tell you why. Yishma Chakima V'Yosef Mada. V'Suchlasana, that's this Navon, Midabranusa Yikne. So it's this word Midabranusa, which is Tachbulus. Let's see what that word means here. A second. Who's translating? Inyanu Dakus Ha'iyun. Kamo V'His Chvulus Asa Milchama. He's saying it's like small little micro matters that you investigate. But that's what adroit means. Like we said this, right? What makes me not a professional basketball player? That I don't have the ability to make my wrist bend all the way backwards and grip a basketball all the way across, which is what's needed in order to consistently make baskets. I am not adroit in my physical body, but we are to be adroit in our minds. See here, 1 second. There's a reason why I got hung up on this. Shosha me'inyan chaval shakusher kama chutin. So it's the idea of like a rope and all the little strands, this with this, to make from it ropes. V'chein yikshor kama hiksherim o eitzis. Oh wow. Wow. So yeah, it's the word adroit is to really get the fine details that can add up. I mean, kind of like imagine if you had like bundles of fiber optics of giving you inspiration in Torah, right? That's what this is saying. Like the power of it's that kind of power. But I'm just confused on this word lekach. 1 second. Yishma chacham v'Yosef. Lekach v'navon. Let's you translate that. Lekach v'Yosef mada. Yishma chacham v'Yosef. Lekach v'navon. Right, Brian, can you just read real slow again 5? I want to see how he's translating this. I don't get this. This word lekach, I'm not sure if it goes in the beginning or the end. It's totally loaded. I know it.
Mishlei 1:5. I'm reading from the JPS, which is
I know.
It's always a little bit different and hard to deal with, but for what it's worth, the wise man hearing them will gain more wisdom. The discerning man.
Wait. Will gain. Let me look. This might be an actual word, and not just like. In Israel, you say if you buy something, you're lokeach. I think this may be more than just saying another way of acquisition. Lekach. To receive, accept, grasp, capture. Also, here, I told you. It also means teaching, instruction. Read it. I'm gonna try it to grab this in my brain.
Okay.
Maybe they actually bring our verse in this dictionary.
Here's Mishlei 1:5 from Chabad. Let the wise man hear and increase learning.
Okay, that's right. Okay, I told you. Lekach. Right. Wait, I got it. Lekach does not. It means acquisition, but it means like this is gonna be a big word for us.
Yeah.
Like acquired learning. Like the way we started off today, Yosef was a big lekach. Now, how do I know that? How can I be sure Yosef was a great lekach? Look at the Hebrew. Yishma chacham v'yosef lekach. Right? And the wise man will hear and increase learning. The word for increase is actually Joseph's name, Yosef. Right? So that's the hint. Yosef lekach. Yosef was a person who increased his learning. So it's case in point. The name Yosef, which means to increase, is a natural increase. Right? Yosef, his sole mazel name is to increase learning. Right? This is totally him. This whole verse is him. This is amazing stuff. So the wise man will hear and increase his learning. And the navon, tachbulos yikne. When the navon is you increase all those little hints. Now, you guys ready for this? Listen to this. This is why I got stuck with this. Hold on. I don't know. I printed it out, but basically, how many of you guys remember from the book and my teachings about Shem going to Garden of Eden by names? Anybody? 1, 2? How many of you guys remember the Midrash about Shem going to the Garden of Eden through names? All right, so watch this. I pulled this out of my learning the other day. I don't remember where I put it. 1 second. No, I'll pull out this book. 1 second. Like I said, it's been a bit of a rough week. This is like the president coming on every channel. It's like, we pardon the interruption for these important matters. I find this book. It has that midrash in it. 1 second. Pardonnez-moi. Where did I put it? Hang on. This book disappeared on me. I cannot find this for the life of me. I think it literally got up and walked away. Where did it go? Hang with me. Where did it go? 1 second. This is. I know I put something. There it is. All right. So think about where we've gone, what we're doing, and with Shem. Listen to this. Now, do you guys all know what this word tachbulot is, adroit, and as we used it? 1 or 2? All right. Here we go. One of those days. And it's funny, every time I print it out, I always misplace it every single time. I just printed it out. Not long ago. It's right here, so let's see. I'll tell you, where did it go? Oof. Very strange. Very strange. Okay. Here we go. Ready? This is good stuff. Amaisa Shaviu B'likutim. This is a story brought in the Midrash, yeah? B'Shem ben Noach, v'Isa Sham, he came there to the Garden of Eden. The Shem Allah, that Shem went up in the Garden of Eden, al pi, by way of Tachbulas Hashemus, by this word adroit, of being adroit of God's names. And he ate from the tree of life. This should be a lesson for everybody in here. Do not look up words. I must have lied to myself 20 times this week, saying to myself, yeah, you know what it means, takbulot. You don't got to look it up. It just means name stuff, name stuff. Man, do I feel stupid now. Now, everyone knows that Midrash in the book that King Solomon is the one that went and found Shem at Sinai, correct? 1 or 2. And here we see Solomon putting the word takbulot, adroit, into Mishlei. And I taught it in the original Shem series that you can see from this that Solomon received the wisdom from Shem, which is obvious in a million different ways. By the way, Mishlei spells Shem li. Shem is to me. But now we see that the famous Midrash is all about this Tachbulas Hashemus, being adroit with God's wisdoms of his names. Well, here it is. I mean, here is King Solomon telling you straight up. The wise man will hear and gain the wisdom, the teachings, and the Navon, he who reads between the lines of like the microfibers of names, divine names, he will acquire. How cool is that? So in the end, what do we see Shem did? This is what Shem did. Shem was able to really do verse 1:5. I think that's pretty amazing. I think hopefully that little delay was worth a while. Okay, now we have a mission. Brian, I know you're going to hate me for this, but can you please just read 5 with now that we understand 5, and then go into 6 and 7. I think and slow down at 6, as I think now we can really gain an understanding of what our verse is all about. I don't think we could have known until now because it's that big. It is that big. Go ahead.
5 and 6. Let the wise man hear and increase learning. The understanding man shall acquire wise counsels, or adroit, to understand an allegory and a figure, the words of the wise and their riddles.
Very good. So the wise man will hear and grow in the teachings. The Navon, he who reads between the lines. The Navon Tachbul, he who reads the fine print. How do I like that? Like the incredibly fine print will acquire. And this is why the Talmud has all the fine print. Fine print is that. Wow, this is really incredible. I don't know if you guys, I'm just kind of getting this like in real time. I didn't know this what this was. This is pretty cool, I have to tell you. That's really amazing. I mean, we brought the whole thing about the lawyer, but it really is the lawyer. It is the wisdom of the fine print. I have a learning partner on Tuesdays, and that's why I said my week got slow. I missed my partnership today, one of the guys from Texas, and I had canceled on him for tomorrow. And our partnership is learning the fine print. That's how I found him with Russell. He learned, it was a guy who learned the fine print. And we started learning the fine print together. And lo and behold, wow, this is incredible. Man. So the fine print is where you get the wisdom. Why? Lehavin, to understand or to discern the mashal malitza, the mushal man, and the Melitza, the riddles tales, the words of the sages, and their riddles. Basically, Torah, the wisdom schools of Torah are very riddle-like, right? You can say Ger Toshav is a riddle because, well, it's also not just pshat, but it's a riddle because the joke, and I'm going to, speaking kind of weird, the joke is I'm supposed to not have Ger Toshav because of Jubilee, right? Like the wise joke. They go, ha, ha, ha. We know there's no Ger Toshav today because of Jubilee. They don't understand the riddles of the sages. It's not riddle funny. It's just Torah is very riddle-like. Enigma is, that's wisdom. Nonsensical. People think Torah is supposed to make sense. It does make sense. But you have to go through the riddles and get the fine print to make it make sense. Meaning we cannot spell out the in between the lines. And you can't ignore the fine print either. So now, the whole point is that you have to be adroit in your mind and know the Ger code to understand the riddles of the sages of wisdom. Because everybody in this room speaks in riddles. Okay? The English language is a matrix. And none of you speak correctly. Because the language is in the imprisonment, and all we do is we try our best to speak in it. But because your language is flawed, therefore you're flawed. The wise person can read between the lines. So if we know that Bina, women speak from Bina, back me up here, Loretta. Is it safe to say that women know that life is just a matrix anyways, and the whole point is you have to get beyond the matrix and understand where she's coming from and what she's saying in terms of be adroit and read between the lines and not get bogged down in a faulty language system. Is that true or false? Thank you. So this is the whole thing. The men love to strengthen the matrix and women want to bring it down. Right? You cannot expect to get fine print and bold print. So the fine print is that which cannot be clearly articulated. So the female approach is why try, right? You need to connect on the level of wisdom and not on the level of semantics. Semantics are an endless, forever and ever. Whereas if you get to the crux of the matter through wisdom, then you can communicate. All right, now we need to find out Lehavin. Right, that you have to gain all that fine print wisdom so that you can be strong and adroit to Lehavin, to discern when, basically it's like a steering wheel in driving. I think, this is really the crux of the whole thing, man. This is huge. This is really huge. Now, I bought a book called The History of Arabic. And every language comes about the same way. So a holy document is what releases the religion and the language at the same time. Even if it's the textbook of how to use a Samsung Galaxy, that's a religion because it has rules and regulations. If you don't send your guarantee in time, you get punished. I mean, it's very similar. Religion is kind of a loose term. So when the document is released, especially the Quran, there were ways of an oral tradition of how to interpret the Quran. And then when they lost the oral tradition of how to take the inflections of interpretation, and it became basically grammar Nazi. Just, how to chant it, how to write the letters. English has done the same thing. Every language goes this way. So the whole point of language is there's an oral Torah that tells you how to interpret. And that is the gaining of the fine print. Is that not the same thing as our famous lawyer? Right? He knows where the law is going to go because he knows the fine print and he knows the oral law. Right? I know that this judge hates lefties. So I'm a lefty, so it says I'm gonna write with. I became ambidextrous to impress this judge. I know how to to manipulate the system to the oral tradition of the law, right? In a very corrupt way, but whatever, right? So what you have is the knowledge gained of fine print, printer's wisdom, I call it. Know that term, printer's wisdom. And we're going to gain the ability to learn how to interpret law, speech, and text, all these things. This is really the essence of Sefer Yetzirah and all of Kabbalah and all of Torah in that word Lehavin. You should know this. The word Lehavin here is so big, it is really the entire Torah. I mean, because this is what Shem brought from Gan Eden. You realize that? This is what Shem This is the Torah of Shem on one foot. You want to give me the Torah of Shem on one foot? Here it is. With this, Shem brought the well springs of Gan Eden. If I suffered all week long only to know this, I did okay. That's how much I feel about this. See the gematria of this. 60, 90. There you go. It's the gematria 97. You know what 97 is? It's the gematria Ma and Bon, which in Kabbalah is like the entire repair and the essence of Mashiach. It's also the gematria Mehi Tavel, the wife of Hadar, the 8th king. Remember this, Pam? The we talked about at one of the classes last week. The king that didn't die, the 8th king didn't die, and I told you his wife's name was Mehi Tavel, right? So the gematria of her name is 97. So 97 is like the number. The number doesn't really mean anything. It just shows that it's the thing itself. 97 is the gematria of the word that shows perfect unity in Kabbalah. It's a ma there. The mem and the hey is like the male aspect. The bet and the nun is the female aspect. When they're perfectly in union, that is really the repair of the entire universe. So we're definitely doing pretty well here. Oh, here's another one. Look at this. Look at this. For all you cool Torah lovers out there, when you take the final nun of Lehavin, you with me? 1 or 2? The final nun value is 700. That gives you the gematria 747. It's the same gematria, Kol HaTorah. Now that is pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. That Kol HaTorah is the project we're doing, which is the book about redemption, Vilna Gaon work. I mean, man, this is right on the spot. Okay. Let's see here. So we're coming off of how to increase, how to interpret. All right, I just want to really get into this the right way. This is heavy stuff. Okay, Lehavin in the Targum, the translation of Aramaic. Lemis Bayana, mit Bayana. Let's get our trusty Uncle's dictionary. Find out how he's going to translate this term, because this, I am predicting this is the entire Torah on one foot. It is that big. Lemit Bayana. Lemit Bayana Matlaha. So the word for marshal in Aramaic is Matlaha. Umalitza, Umilasa, Umile de Chokmi. Okay. Lemit Bayana. Let's try this word Bayana. Bayana. Let's see if that's a word. Bayana. 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 How you spell it? Bayana. Bayana. Okay. Oh, look at this. Now that is pretty cool. One of the translations is a thin thing or a hair. How do you like that? 1 or 2? You guys with me? You see what I'm saying here? Lehavin is like fine. How do you say that expression? Fine tooth comb, right? Nishma chacham v'yosef lekach v'navon achbulos yikneh Lehavin mushel. Wow, to find like to make fine hairs of the mushel in the riddles and words of the sages. Fine. Wow, this is wow. So Lehavin is to make everything fine, but real details, really fine. This is pretty awesome. Intelligence or wisdom. Let me see if Lamit by. Oh wow, wow! Right. No, it's because it's Lamit Bayana. So Bayana is a thin thing. So Lamit Bayana is to make it thin, to make it a hair. Right, splitting hairs. So this is what I'm reading about in the Vilna Gaon also, that the repairs we do are the rectifications in Kabbalah are called the hair of the beard. And you have to make the channels of the beard flow from the highest level to the lowest level. So now we know how to do that. Right? By making, you have to make hair. How do you make hair? Lehavin. To break it down to the fine details. I mean, that is the woman power to the nth degree. Very nice. Now that's just the Aramaic translation. Let's see what else we find. Which, by the way, in Kabbalah also, Bina, to restore female understanding is the repair of the universe. All right, Mitsudas David. No, wait, Rashi. Sheyitnu leiv. To place your hearts, lehavin, b'mikris. To place your heart to understand in the verses. Shnei drachim hamashal v'melitza sheyavinu. Two paths of like the mashal, allegory, and melitza. Sheyavinu et ma hamashil Lamalitza. So there's the Melitza is the telling of the allegory. So the Melitza telling mushal allegory. Va'af min Melitza lo yasuru libam shegam hi tzrichim lavin. Va'af min Melitza. Lo Yasuru Libam. So don't take, this is really good. If I give you an analogy, and it's all about a guy going to the store to buy bread, that's a mushal, one or two. And you need to pay attention to the details of the mushal. Am I right? Okay. Now, in the details, do David Katz, exist? So am I adding my 2 cents in the format that I'm telling it over? So if I say he bought white bread, did I say then that he bought rye bread?
Off the internet, what this
Should
is,
you pay attention to the bread if I say white or rye? Which one is the mushal and which one is the melitza? The guy buying bread is the allegory. David Katz giving the specific details is the melitza. Melitza means to tell it over. So if I tell it over, is it in your best interest? All right, Pam, if I am telling a story about a guy buying bread, 1 or 2? I said he bought white bread, 1 or 2. I did not say he bought rye bread, 1 or 2. The allegory said he bought white bread. Is that correct? The answer is yes. Now, who chose the story about the white bread? Yes, I did. So now, one person out there would say, hey, what did Rabbi Katz talk about? He talked about a guy buying white bread. Pam, 1 or 2. But should you only focus on the white bread and the story, or the fact that I told the story and I chose my words carefully? The word malitza in Hebrew, which is in the same verse here with mashal and allegory, they're both necessary. Do not only listen to my allegories, listen to what I'm saying. I think everyone that has a problem with Ger has this problem with me, right? This is what the big fight on Facebook with certain people, right? I give a lot of allegories, correct? About Bob and Best Buy. But don't get lost in Best Buy with Bob. Rabbi David Katz is speaking and trying to tell you something every single time. All right. And that's what we're saying here. So I'll give you a really practical example. The most divine providence, or Ruach HaKodesh, is in the speaker himself. Especially if I'm lost in the analogy. Because when I'm trying to tell about Bob and Best Buy, I am giving my soul over to heaven. And heaven puts words in my mouth. Does it to everybody. But people only focus on the stories and not on the speaker themselves, 1 or 2. So when you hear me speak, how many of you who've watched my videos, and I have no idea because I don't watch my videos, can you hear the speaker as opposed to the allegory conveying deeper meanings in the language? 1 or 2. That's on you guys. I have no idea what you're getting out of it. That's on you. I have no idea. But that's the point. Right? When I talk to Loretta, I can get in between the lines if I pay attention. Right? How many of you have had conversations with me and you hear me say, aha, I got it. Did you hear me? You know, I get in the middle of it. Right? That's what you have, that's what we all do. But that's what's needed to be done. So when Rashi explains a Talmudic piece, and he says, and the Talmud says, Bob went to the store and it was forbidden by law, right? Rashi says, because he forgot. 1 or 2. Right? Just go with me. So when Rashi says, because he forgot, was Rashi basically giving me a very short allegory, kind of, explaining the allegory? Yes. But the brilliance of Rashi is Rashi himself. His words are Ruach HaKodesh, divinely inspired, because he told the story. You see what I'm saying? Rashi's words become part of the telling of the story. Now, everybody has it. We're not there yet. Hold on. We have to learn how to get in or get beyond. This is really huge. This is mind-blowing what's happening right now. I really cannot believe this. Because this is so in our world, right? When, just to use myself for example, get past the story of Rabbi Katz, right? When I go into my metaphor, right? Hear it, but get to what I'm saying. because I'm giving over at that point. I just got to concentrate. My thought process when I teach and I go into my little rants, right? I have to focus so I don't get stuck on camera looking like an idiot. Because if I lose concentration, it's over. I mean, it's over. So I have to concentrate and tell my little riddle about Best Buy. But when I'm doing that, David Katz is alive and well. He is not paying attention because he's telling a story. Therefore, the words that are used are not my own. They just come out. And I'm more concerned with telling about Bob's Best Buy to make it something tangible to make sense. Otherwise, I'll just lose concentration, right? So I'm giving myself to allowing levels in my classes. For the sake of Bob and Best Buy, it preserves Rabbi David Katz as he speaks. Now, I know that's true for my process as I'm giving it. I can't speak for you and what you receive once I do that. But I'm telling you what I think when I do it. I'm just trying to not botch my story. But by the laws of wisdom, the words that I use should be important to understand the keys of understanding of the story itself. Is that true? Yeah, you guys rely on those? You're connecting to the speaker when I do this? Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. Now, okay. Yisur libam shagam hi tzrichim lahavin k'sha'amar lehetzilech me'isha zara v'nachriya al hevle mitzrayim nemar hari hamashal v'afa malitza shahotzi mashlo b'loshin isha havin ba v'hazar me'isha zara. He's saying that when the Torah speaks about like the evil woman, it's a metaphor for greater ideas, right? So if you get the metaphor right, the greater ideas are just there. You got this? That's why, wow, I didn't realize I guess I'm doing an okay job. I needed some inspiration this week. What he's saying is, if you're diligent in the metaphor, if you know you have a metaphor, go with the metaphor. Because God takes over your own words and the message is conveyed in between the lines. You got this? So if you gain insight to the metaphor, just keep going with it. Because the words are destined to follow. Okay. Mitzudas David. Ratzon Lomar. Dvarim ha'elu nemrim al shnei drachim lavin, says Rash. Yes, Ratzon Lomar. He's just copying Rashi. He's just copying Rashi. Wait, maybe not. I want to see this again. Ratzon Lomar. Dvarim ha'elu nemrim al shnei drachim lavin es hamashal. That these words are two ways to just like iron out the allegory, right? To iron it out. Ratzon Lomar, that is to say, Ma shehamashil el hamalitza, what the riddle of the riddler is conveying. The gam es hamalitza atzma, also the riddler himself. Kishaomer hamalitza leheshamar mezona, that the riddler is Melitza lehashoyim leshmar mez. Like the riddler is the guard against immorality. V'hamur lahamshil ala pikor said hine yeshavin ba lios nizahar gam isha zona u'tosefet bior amrei chachami v'chidosam divar amrei bevevola ramazim b'derech chida. He's saying that he riddles to guard against an immoral woman, and you can learn from it, let's say, how to guard against a heretic, right? Because it's the same type of wisdom. The same seduction of an evil woman is the same seduction as somebody who wants to, hurt your soul. Okay. Robag. Asher Yamru Chachamim HaNeviim Ki Behem Yelamed Ba'Adam Darkei Chakuyim Asher Yeraglu Lumshil Lachakos Behem Tisha Avin Divrei Chachamim Im Hem Rebbe Oimek V'Yavin Chidos Mitzad. He's not giving us any revelation there. Here we go. Ibn Ezra Mashul Malitza V'Chidus Mashul Shemena Yaitse Devar Acher. Chida Devar Mechusa Ve'ina Movan Ad Shifarish Shenemar Alo Ela Kulam Alav Mashul Yasu V'Lekach Yikra Ken Ba'avor Mashi Kakadam Min Adas V'chein Ma Yekachecha V'Vecha. He's not Tavus Inyan Eitzim Akshava. He's not going anywhere. Let me see here. Lehavin. Asa Yivard Suris HaSefer Shenimsebo Mashul Melitza Melitza Hu Nimshul V'chein Yilandu B'toch Lehavin Mishlei HaToyra Shebiksav V'Melitza Shehu Muskal Panini Asher Tachad Ilvush Achitzon Shehu Mashul Kamo B'Sifra Eitzadas V'Nachash Yavin Hamashul V'Gam Nimshul. Wait a second. Kamo B'Sipure Eitz. Look at this. He's saying, this is the Malbim. The Malbim is saying that this word, and I told you this is the word. Lehavin is how you get the real extract out of this book. Right? So we've already said that you got to wake up and the mashal man, all these things, words of wisdom. The bottom line is you got to get the real thread and kernel of wisdom. And this word is how you do it. You got to get it to where you're splitting hairs. And he says to the essence of the book of Mishlei, because look, in our verse, the allegory, mashal, is in our verse. So he's telling you how to get the essence of our book, which is the essence of the Torah of the son of David, Solomon, and the Torah of Shem. Now, he's saying also the tree of knowledge and the snake. V'kedome yavin hamashal, v'gam hanimshal, v'chein b'torah shebal peh yavin. Wow, hold on a second. Shehu muskal panimi asher takas halavush achitzon shehu mashal. 1 second, this is insane. 1 second. Now we'll explain the form of the book. He's saying this is the book. This is Mishlei. It is Malitza and Mashal, the speaker and the allegory. Give me 1 or 2. There is a Solomon and there is a Solomon's words. 1 or 2. And you have to know how to lehavin, split the hair to get it, to understand it. 1 or 2. Like, this is the essence of this. Now, that in the book is Mashal Melitza, Melitza hu hanimshal. The Melitza is the thing that is analogous to. So there was a guy who bought bread. That guy was a rich guy, and he bought a lot of bread. Is that an allegory? Yes. It's a mashal. Now, what do I want you to walk away with from this? What do you want to walk away from that story? That when you have a lot of money, you buy white bread. Okay? We're making a really dumb analogy here. You with me? David Katz wants you to know that a lot of people that have money buy white bread. So I made up a little story that rich people buy white bread. With me? The analogy and the thing that is analogous. But really, I'm driving this thing by trying to get you to understand my wisdom of a lot of money and white bread. Correct? So you can get lost in the metaphor, or you can hear what I'm trying to teach you, and what I'm trying to teach you is connected to my lips, tongue, and mouth. So the melitza is the analogous thing, and I am the mulitz. I'm the one telling you the analogous thing. With me? There's 3 steps here. The allegory, the thing I'm trying to hint at to you in the allegory, and me driving the hinted at thing in the allegory. 1 or 2. And assuming I have wisdom, or if my name is King Solomon, I'm telling you the book of Mishlei, then if you trust King Solomon's wisdom, you should probably try to get what he's saying. 1 or 2. Because Solomon's saying, I was around and I got the school of wisdom from Shem. So if you think Shem got it, if you think I'm good enough to get what Shem got, and now I'm telling you, can we rely on Solomon's wisdom? Okay. V'chein yilamdu metocho lehavin mishlei haTorah shebiksav u'mehamlitza. Solomon is saying that this exists in Moses' Torah as well. And I'm going to tell you how to get to Moses himself. Is that something you might want to do? To hear the Torah from Moses' mouth. Shehu muskal pnimi, asher tachar livush achitzon shehu mashal. That Moses' Torah is an allegory, and the analogous thing is inside the allegory. And Moses is telling you the analogous thing. So does Kabbalah exist? Is this world an allegory to man from God? Did Moses contain the allegories of God in the Torah itself, what we would call reality? Did Moses tell you in between the lines what reality really is? Yes. The wisdom in there, Loretta. So that if we can hear from Moses, we will understand the analogous things. You can say Abraham was analogous to kindness, was he not? Did God create a kindness program called Abraham? Did Moses write about Abraham? 1 or 2. Can we get to what Moses understands kindness is through deeper appreciation of Torah? Yes. Now, just like in the stories of the tree of knowledge and the snake, the kedome, yavin hamashal, the gam hanimshal. So first you have to understand that the snake and the tree and Adam and Eve are an allegory. Even if they happened, it's still an allegory. Right now, I am teaching a class. I am an allegory. And the allegory was spoken or written about by Moses. So Moses knew the allegory. He was compelled to tell a story about a snake and a guy and a girl, right? Whatever it was, whatever his prophecy told him to do it. So as he's telling you the allegory, Moses has something in mind, correct? Therefore, when you connect to Moses there by Lehavin, splitting hairs, you can understand what is behind the story of the garden. Now, That was one Lehavin. Now let's go to the other Lehavin, which is our Lehavin of our verse that's posted right here. No need to translate for Brian. All right, here comes the word. Ready? This is chapter 1, verse 2. Lameda chokhmasa umardusa leisbayin leitbayin imre biyunta. Here we go. Let's see if it's the same word. Ready? Leitbayin. Bayin. I know this is a class a little bit tough this week, but listen to it again since it's being recorded because it is pretty powerful. But John, is this worth your while? All right. Pierce, split, penetrate, discern, understand. By the way, you know how you spell this, the root form of this word bayin? You guys ever hear of a guy named Joshua? 1 or 2? Was his name Joshua ben Nun? 1 or 2? What was his name? No, it wasn't, Pam. Bin Nun. Same word here, bin. Joshua who split hairs to understand Nun. Shari Bina. I like that. That's what it is. Bin Nun. That's what it is. To mediate, interpret, make intelligible, find analogies, to form a conclusion by analogy, to understand oneself, be careful, reflect. What do you guys think about this? Brian, how do you feel about this? To teach, make wise, to reflect upon, to understand. Something split or placed between. I double dog dare every one of you to go on Facebook and ask, what does the word Beit Yud Nun mean? How many of you think you'll get back a response to split? Versus how many people respond it means Bina to understand? What do you guys think? Just Rabbi Cat's making up more stuff. Fin, thing, hair. So basically, John, I'm asking you, here we go, I'm putting you on the spot. What does Bina mean, John? If bin means to split and all these things, what does Bina mean? No. Bina is you have a bunch of splits. It's the concept. It is Bina. You guys know how to make a rhinoceros horn? You ever heard about this? The horn of a rhinoceros? Horn of a rhinoceros. It's a bunch of hairs. Ben is to no bin, not Ben. Do not get that wrong. Bin, B-I-N, bin, or bet yud nun, bin. But really tighter, right? So we say that there's nun shari bina, 50 gates of understanding. The idea is it's like 50 things as opposed to one big thing. Bina is if you understand, it is understood. That means you have all the dots connected to form a picture, right? So do you have understanding if you don't have dots or split things or points? No. You understand when you have enough dots collected. Then, when you have your dots and points, ducks in a row, whatever you want to call it, collective consciousness, you understand. Bina. The hey at the end is like a full thing. You are Bina. You understand that? Right? It's a full concept. Where you at with it? John, you with me? Yes or no? All right, good. Wow. So Navon. What is a Navon? Somebody that collects the dots. They see the dots, find the dots, connect the dots, la, 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 connect the dots, la, la, la. All right. I've never, ever seen Bina used in this way. Because nobody ever thought to look up the word bin. Everybody kept it an understanding. No one ever thought to look at it as bin. Wow. This is far out. This is something special. So that's the Aramaic. Now, Lehavin. What am I doing wrong here? Let's put the next page. Lehavin. Are you telling me no one translates Lehavin? Here, our friend the Malbim will do it. He's the only one. Shiavin Amrim Hastumim Shel Habina Lehavin Devar B'Toch Devar. That Shiavin, that you'll understand, you will. Well, it used to be I would say understand, but Shiavin. Yeah, I think we got. You know what we did, guys? This is the panemius inner level of Bina. Because look at this word, Shiavin Amrim Hastumim Shel Habina. See that? Shel Habina. That you'll split words, hidden words of understanding. And to Lehavin, and to split a matter in the midst of a thing. Wow. This is the most deepest, profound stuff I've ever learned in my life. You think I'm joking? I'm not joking. This is up there, man. This is heavy duty. This is literally the essence of Sefer Yetzirah in the Torah of Shem. And, if you think I'm joking, just listen to my class on Thursday on Torah of Shem. You're going to find this in there. In fact, I'm writing this down. Let me make a note. This is, wow. Torah Shem number 3. Lehavin wisdom from Mishlei class. The reason why this is so exciting is because everyone translates Bina to understand or understanding. No one ever thinks about bin, like Yeshua bin Nun, just like, a dot, of taking like a word and making 20 million dots in it. But that's what understanding is. Man, this is just like the essence of Kabbalah here. This is crazy. Right? I mean, if you understand something, what are you really doing? What do you mean? What do you mean matrix view? Okay. Yeah. Well, you'd say, the finer points of wisdom, right? Is that when you understand something, you have to get it from all angles. So basically, if people that don't get Ger, what they're saying is they don't feel like getting all the dots put together. And then they're blaming us for there being dots. How dare you have dots? I don't want there to be dots. I want a simple understanding. Really? Really? Noahide is a simple understanding, right? But that is so false, it hurts. It's actually painful. To summarize all of Ger in the word Noahide. Pshat is once you have the dots, and you can read Ger Tosha, for example, or Ger in the Torah, you then know the pshat, right? So if it said, Rashi says, the Ger who takes on the 7 laws, that is not to say the Ger who eats nevela or rejects idolatry. To even know those 3 distinctions means you've seen a bunch of dots. So when I say one of those distinctions, you understand what the pshat is each time, 1 or 2. Then when we find new dots, then we have to go back and recalibrate the engine. How does this new dot change our world? And if you stop finding the dots, that just means you quit. That doesn't mean that there's no more dots. You will find dots about Ger the rest of your life. That's why I get Ger really means I don't ever get Ger. Because once I ask you a question you didn't think of, you have to reestablish in your mind the dots. Because can you always split a hair again? Yeah. Everything can continuously be split. The bee that never makes it across the room. Right? So you were obtuse in how you saw one dot, and I asked you a penetrating question, and it made you split your hair into 2 more hairs. Now you have a brand new dot. Now you have 2 dots, as Sefer Yetzirah says, that you need to weigh them against each other to make a new chiddush, new novel dot. How great is that? All right. Now, I think we're about done. Wait a minute. There's actually another Malbim here. Okay, we'll close on this one. Let me see here. 1 second. Okay. Here we go. Lehavin. Vehine habina. Habina hi nivdelit mechochma. That proper understanding is separate from chochma, wisdom. That it is what a man splits a thing in the midst of a thing. Shem emes v'sheker. V'chein la'avin hamalitzes hakashis v'chidos v'stumas shedivru behem bali tvuna. So people that have wisdom and know how to craft their words with wisdom. King David was the master of this because he knew how to speak rich enough that you can make conclusions and read between his lines. 1 or 2. V'tachat shehachachma nosefis al hanefesh mebachutz. What? V'tachat shehachachma nosefet el hanefesh mebachutz. So if King David says, "Hi, my name is King David. I have a bunch of wisdom. I'm the king of Israel. I wrote an amazing book. The word of God is truth. Wow, am I amazingly wise?" 1 or 2. Give me 1. Hello. Give me 1. Don't have my analogy here. Now, King David said, all right, I'm painting a picture for you. Right? King David says, "Hi, everybody. My name is King David. I am really wise. I'm the king of Israel. I'm basically Mashiach. And I have the knowledge of God. If you listen to me, you'll get everything you need to know about God." 1 or 2. But King David writes a book. 1 or 2. That book is called Psalms. 1 or 2. So King David says, "Hi, everybody. King David here, the author. Let me tell you about these guys, Achitophel and Doeg. They're giving me a hard time, and God save me, blah, 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 blah." What did he do? He took that wisdom, and he was garmented by words of understanding through allegory, correct? He is allegorically teaching you what he considers to be a wisdom of supreme knowledge of God, correct? So if you listen to King David's stories and you hear what King David is trying to teach you, you will get to King David himself, one or two. So there's King David the wise man, King David the wise man who knows how to use wise words, King David the wise man who knows how to use wise words that allows you to understand and connect to those words, which allows you to work your way all the way back to God himself. Because King David understands God is conveying to you wisdom that comes directly from God through the prophetic experience. One or two. Now, there's another guy named Bob. And Bob says, yeah, God is awesome. God's like all the stars in the universe as one. Is Bob the same as King David? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's just got a lot more clippa than King David has, right? Bob is extremely vulgar, but there is a Bob. God does work through all of his creations, right? And he is trying to convey something, and it's a bit more of a challenge. But at the end of the day, you can learn from everybody, says the Vilna Gaon commentary of this book, Mishlei, 1 or 2. So what is our goal? Our goal is twofold. Don't be like Bob. Be like King David. Be like King David who can learn from Bob. 1 or 2. Here we go. Habina he yotzei menefesh adam lechutz, that the understanding, the ability for you to chop up his words, King David's words, come from the man himself to the outside, lavor bein advarim, which comes through the splitting of words and amongst the words, the fine detailed words, and to investigate them into chadur. What is this word, chadur? That's a nice word. I think let me see how he wants to translate this. Let's see. It's a nice word. Chad. Infiltrate. Oh, that's great. Imbued or saturated. Is that a great? I told you that was a great word. Because Bob is very difficult to understand. But Bob is not evil for being difficult to understand. He's just got a lot of clippa. Right? King David draws from supreme life examples. If you had Doeg trying to kill you, you would be able to speak very clear Torah too. Clippa is a rough garment that is extremely vulgar and hard to understand. Right? If I called a guy a dude as opposed to the word ish, which one do you think would give more wisdom to an easier realm of study? If I said some dude yelled at me versus ha'ish marbitzoti. Right? You guys with me? Not dude. Dude is an English word that means nothing. The Hebrew word ish requires, scholarly Torah research. King David didn't say dude. He said ish, for example. Bob doesn't know of Hebrew or ish. He just says dude. So Bob, in his mind, when he says dude, he might mean Adam. He might mean ish. He might mean enosh. We have to really pay attention to what Bob is saying. That's the whole point. Bob doesn't differentiate terms, right? So when he says dude and it and these things, we don't know where he's coming from. Bob, in this context might mean dude means awesome, an awesome man. He also might mean, it literally means like a cowboy type thing, right? We don't know. So King David will tell you, if I meant to say dude, I would say, enosh. If I wanted to say supreme man, I would say ish. If I wanted to say an okay guy, I would say adam. So then you would learn all the different terminologies in Torah of David to understand what he's talking about, right? And so David, if he has removed evil from his midst, he would speak in very clear, holy tongue, distinctive terms. 1 or 2. Okay. Now, So that the words are saturated. I mean, this is King David 101. He is the most saturated speaker of all time. Right? You cannot go wrong by learning into King David's words. It was soaked with depth, amkim, to bring out to alumus al yedei hikshe tvuna, to bring out hidden matters by connecting the dots. And this will teach also the Sefer Zeh. This will teach you, this book, how to do that. What the Malbim is saying is, if King David was the master of writing that way, King Solomon is the master of understanding that way. One or two. So when I was in the driving school, for those that were paying attention to my muscle man moments, how did I wake up? How did I stop being David Katz, wasting my time in driving school, and I woke up to being not being moron man, and I was ready for class? What happened? What can we say happened? The right splitting of hairs got me awake, and I got onto the fishing line, so to speak, and I started splitting hairs the whole time. You realize you could learn something. Exactly. Started splitting hairs. Brian, trust the process, right? Our minds split hairs. All you have to do, let your mind split hairs as it knows how to. Trust the process. Right? You will always split hairs at this point in your life. So just, if you're being moron man, let it happen. Because wherever you're trained in your school of wisdom, you will start splitting hairs. Why was I a horrible wrestler, Pam Rogers? I did not know how to split hairs on the wrestling mat. I wanted to do the opposite. I wanted to beat my chest and proclaim I am the Incredible Hulk. That's not how you win a wrestling match. That's how you lose a wrestling match. But in terms of picking apart a Tosfos, I'm ready to split hairs. Right? I guarantee you, Loretta, you know how to do this in your knitting. Not a question for me. Right? Pam Rogers and all the things that you do great, I'm sure you know how to split hairs too. Brian, in your learning and in your martial arts, you know how to split hairs. John, I've seen you split hairs every day on Facebook nowadays. Shannon, I haven't seen you actually post anything, and I don't know how you would, but I can speak for Travis. He's certainly splitting hairs too. Okay, I think we're good. You guys, how do you guys feel about the word Lehavin now? Was it important to take that the splitting hair digression for Shem? I think it was. Yeah, this to me was the most important thing I've ever done. I'll tell you that. This just really confirmed, I think, everything. I mean, this to me really confirmed everything I think I've ever done in my entire life. Yeah, you guys got a lot out of this? I mean, it wasn't just me ranting and raving and going over things in Hebrew. You guys feel okay with this one? All right. Because I had to really learn on the fly here. This was like, I mean, it would have been the world's biggest tragedy if I would have skipped over that Torah Shem moment. You know, that would have been really, really disgusting. Hey, Torah Shem's not valid here. Let's just keep going. And no, that changed the whole playing field. Changed everything. Man, it's just I can't even figure out where I put the papers of the Torah Shem that I printed out like a couple of days ago. And I kept lying to myself, saying, what tachbulat are. They're not a big deal. It's just kind of, he learned, blah, blah, blah. Wow, what a lie that was. See, that was Moron Man. Moron Man really beat. Now I know why my whole week stunk. Why? Because I was lying to myself till tonight. Moron Man had me by the throat. Because how did it start even? How did it start? I did the Torah of Shem. I got this book, Rav Polim. Wellsprings of Gan Eden. Yeah, this was my project on Sunday. I came out of Shabbos on Sunday. I'm translating Kol Torah for the book project this year. Kol Chaim. Was stuck in a million things. And then I started looking up the Torah Shem, printing out the pages again, lost. I don't know where they are in here. I got to find them. And I got to the word, I wanted to find out what was the essence of Shem going to Gan Eden. And I knew it had to do with the names of God, the Shemot. And then there was that word Tachbulit. And I must have lied to myself 20 times saying, oh, come on. It's not an important word. You don't need to look it up. Just forget about it. It doesn't. But man, it's not even about the word Shemot. Now I know it's the word Tachbolit. You guys see the case in point here? Because Tachbolit looks like it means ropes, strings. So, okay, he went up by strings. They had some kind of, whatever circus act they did to get him up there. That's how it sounds in the Midrash. Remember, Midrash is Malitza and Mashal. So by definition, it's going to be a riddle. All came together today. Because when I did that on Sunday, it led me to a week of weird energy. I was trying to learn and do things, and I was agitated. I didn't know why. Now I know why. This was coming down. And so I don't even feel excited right now. I just finally feel ready to start being excited, ready to start learning. I don't think I've ever learned in my life. I really don't think I've ever learned. I think now is where you start to learn. Because until now, it's just been by the grace of God. We haven't done anything. Right? God has just kind of let us split hairs without even realizing that's what it's about. But once you know that's the skill, then you can go out and do it. I mean, wow. I mean, everyone that's followed my stuff knows I like to split hairs. But I thought that was just a quirk. It's my own thing. I can't necessarily put it on anybody. But now I'm seeing that's really how you do it. It's really how you do it. And everybody's got their skill of how to get more on me and out of their head and to learn how to split hairs. Yeah, it is. But now we know how to, now you have your own process. Trust the process. I don't have to tell you. Right? I mean, I think the whole point, Proverbs, to know wisdom and instruction, to discern the words of understanding. Learn the material, break down the material, keep breaking it down, keep piling the learning. I mean, this is what it is. To the point where you can connect to the speaker beyond their allegorical little story. Again, you guys have more time with my videos than I do, so only you would know. I'm just trying to tell the Best Buy stories of my videos. I mean, give me some feedback here, and I don't flatter me. I'm not interested. Does it really come through? Does this wisdom really work? Does it really work? You can really, because I know I've given over 200 videos. I should be a good case in point if it works. You guys are, you can actually learn from the words that come out when I'm not paying attention. It must. Well, but I'm saying when I speak, because I go into allegorical so much, because I know it's the only way I can convey my point. What Solomon is saying is take advantage of those times people do it because they are given over to the powers of wisdom. My job is to be schooled enough in wisdom that God has what to use with my voice, right? I shouldn't be saying things like dude and blah, 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 right? If I have learned enough Torah, you should be able to find words of wisdom coming out. And so for those that have wisdom, that would make sense. All right. It works for those exactly who are looking for the wisdom. Yeah, you're right. Wow. Wow. So people that don't want wisdom, they get stuck in the Best Buy analogy. That's what you're telling me. And they want me to speak out between the lines, which I can't. It can only come out behind the veil of the Best Buy analogy. That's the only way it can come out. By definition of King Solomon. I cannot sit and spell out those things. It doesn't exist. Very interesting. Well, this has been an awesome experience, everybody.